friends, welcome back to Belle's Library. I'm Heather, and today I am here with the Splendid Spring Book Tag. So thank you to Kelsey over at Bookishly Nerdy for tagging me for this tag video, and we've got a lot of questions and prompts for this one, and some of them are kind of tricky. I have a lot of books and things going on for this, so let's go ahead and jump on in. I also would like to add that the original tag was done by Victoria Mann, and I will have both Kelsey's and Victoria's videos down below for your guys' viewing after this. So the first prompt is, everywhere you look, flowers are blooming. Choose a book that you think you're gonna love or you already do love that has flowers on the cover. And so I actually chose one of each. I've got The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is one of my absolute favorites from this author duo. It is so wonderful, and it has a beautiful cover with pretty flowers all over and other fun kind of summery vibe stuff because our main characters go to Hawaii. So if you guys don't know what this is about, we are basically following Olive. She is the maid of honor at her sister's wedding, and everybody gets food poisoning except for her and the best man because they can't eat the food for different reasons. And so her sister goes, you need to go on our honeymoon. We got this free trip to Hawaii, like go, and her and the best man have to go on this honeymoon. So you got a little bit of some fake dating going on there, which hasn't always been my favorite trope. I love it in here because you also have a hate to love. They just have this hate for each other, and now they're trying to fake date, and it's just hilarious and fun, and oh my gosh, all the summer vibes in this. Love it. And then we have Girl Serpent Thorn that has these beautiful light pink flowers. Oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful roses on here, and I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. It's a really nice little fantasy here, and my basic understanding is we have this princess or girl or something, and basically she's cursed with poisonous touch, and I think she like kind of stays hidden because she doesn't want to hurt anybody, but then she like decides to come out, and I think there's a little bit of some romance in here too, but I could be wrong. But gosh, this cover is gorgeous. Okay, so prompt number 2 is, spring is a perfect time for a trip. So choose a book that you've read on some kind of vacation you went traveling on, or a book you would like to read when you travel. So I was trying to think of a book that I've read on vacation, and for the life of me, like, I haven't been on vacation. Obviously, nobody's really going anywhere. I've been in my house a lot. So I couldn't think of anything that, I couldn't even think of a vacation to think about what books I was reading. So I went ahead with one that I would like to read on vacation because I feel like people we meet on vacation looks like a book that would be awesome, just like out on a beach, and you're just reading it and just enjoying, and you're just soaking up all the sun vibes. Like, I think this book would be great for that, and maybe I will bring it on my next vacation. Who doesn't love a good spring fling? Now we're going to choose a book that I was obsessed with for quite a while, but then swiftly just kind of pushed it to the side and forgot about it. For this one, I actually pulled out the whole Red Queen series. I honestly was reading this as I was starting to get back into reading, and before I got on BookTube, I read the first 3 books, and I started into the 4th, but I actually have not finished it. Oh my gosh, these are way too heavy. I have to put them down. So I'll hold the first book. And I was loving these, and I flew through the first 3, and I was just like enveloped in them and totally like immersed in the story. And then I don't know what happened. Like the 4th book came along, I was starting it, and then I just didn't finish at all, and I haven't picked it up since, and I have no idea how it ends, and like what? I don't even know. Like, I remember, so this follows, I can't remember the character's name. What is her name? So we have basically these 2 classes of citizens, people with red blood and then people with silver blood, and people with silver blood have like magical type abilities, and people with red blood don't, and so they are looked down upon, and they're kind of like the servants of this whole world. And that kind of is your general premise going on here, except for we have somebody with red blood that all of a sudden has some powers. Okay, this next prompt was probably one of the hardest ones. I like looked through my Goodreads, my shelves, like I was just like, I don't know. Okay, so it's, everyone loves the smell of freshly mowed grass, but not at an ungodly hour. Choose a book that personifies a middle-aged dad waking up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday to mow the lawn when he should be sleeping like the rest of us. So, I was trying to like piece this together, and I was like, okay, well, obviously we're feeling annoyed because we're getting woken up super early by our dad mowing the lawn, but then also like a middle-aged dad figure, like I love my dad and I have such genuinely warm feelings towards my dad, so I also wouldn't want to put in a book that I just like seriously hated. It's just that I'm irritated reading it super early in the morning, I guess. I don't know. We decided to go with We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson, and the reason I was thinking on this was because this book, I think, isn't one that I would want to wake up and pick up first thing in the morning. It does follow some harder topics, and there's some like scientific pieces in here that just like, I don't know that it would click that early in the morning. If I was woken up at 7 a.m. in the morning and I was annoyed, I don't know that like this would be the book I would go to, I guess. But then there are some like characters in here that you're really rooting for and that you want to see do well. I have no idea. So that's where we're going with this. And We Are the Ants is following Henry, and he basically like keeps getting abducted by aliens, and they say you can like save the earth if you push this button, otherwise the earth's gonna end on this day. And he's like, he doesn't like just push the button right away. He's like, maybe earth would be better off if it wasn't around. And so he's like trying to figure that out. And then he's also trying to navigate high school and being gay and everybody kind of picking on him for that, and he's just struggling with some of those issues as well, and he's just got a lot of stuff going on with him. So it's not like a super easy read, but kind of an interesting sci-fi twist with it, so that kind of helped to lighten it up a little bit in certain ways. A surprise rain shower might just ruin your outdoor fun, but don't worry, the sun will come out again. Choose a book that made you really sad, but in the end, everything worked out beautifully. So for this one, I went with The Poetex by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is my favorite Elizabeth Acevedo book. Oh my gosh, I loved this book. But there was definitely a moment, I remember I was listening to the audio and I was on my way to clinicals for school and I was like almost crying, and I was just like, I just was wanting to give Xiomara a huge hug and just love on her, and I was so appreciative of some of her teachers and like her pastor and stuff, and how they were just loving on her as much as they could while she was kind of struggling with some stuff personally and with her mom and stuff like that. And in the end, I think that it really did come together because all these people were able to come together and help each other out, and it was just beautiful. This story follows Xiomara. She gets invited to do slam poetry by her English teacher, and she constantly is writing poetry and is really into it, but her mom is very strict and just doesn't agree with it, and they really butt heads really bad, and it's just so beautifully well told, you guys, so beautifully well told. So it's that time of year when all of the animals come out of hibernation and stretch their limbs. So we're going to choose a book that pulled me out of a reading slump. And so I was thinking back, and in like February, I was kind of getting a little slumpy, struggling just a smidgel. And I, towards the end of that month, started a reading vlog, reading some books with podcasts in them. And one of them was this book, Sadie by Courtney Summers. Oh my goodness, I loved this book. It was so good. The audiobook was really wonderful. It incorporated that podcast in there, and oh my gosh, so wonderful. Sadie, we are following Sadie basically she's trying to figure out what happened to her sister who got murdered and kind of take revenge. So we're following her as she's going on that path, but then we're also following Wes, and he runs this podcast, and he's trying to figure out where Sadie went because Sadie's missing. And so we're kind of following both those timelines and trying to figure out what in the heck happened. And it was just, oh my gosh, it was so good, so impactful, and I just was hooked. And podcasts are definitely a thing I enjoy in books, I've realized, and really enjoy when I can get an audiobook of them because they're so good. So students all exhale a breath of relief knowing that they are going on break and they get a little time away from school. So we're going to choose a book with a friend group that we would love to hang out with. And for this one, I went with Well Met by Jen DeLuca because I totally want to hang out at the Renaissance Fair with all of these fun people who are in the Renaissance Fair as all the actors and the bar wenches and the knights and I don't know, all the fun stuff. And they just seem like so much fun. They're like doing this Renaissance fair, and then a lot of times they'll go out afterwards and have drinks and hang out. And I would love to do that. Like, I think that would be so much fun to go and work at a Renaissance fair, and just, I think it would be really fun. And all of the characters and everybody in here, just, they all seem like they would all be really good friends. And I totally would go with this one. Well Met, we're basically following, not April, so we are following Emily, and she moves in with her sister because her sister got into a bad accident and she needs help with her daughter, but the daughter wants to do this Renaissance fair over the summer and she needs a parent volunteer. And so Emily is there, and she ends up working as a bar wench there as a volunteer at the bar, and it's just, yeah, very fun. I totally would hang out with these guys. So spring, all about rebirth and blooming. So choose a book that changed you and impacted you, made you grow as a person. Slay, definitely, by Brittany Morris. This book is amazing. I finished it and I was just like, I want to go back and reread this. I feel like I could go back into this book and just highlight and tab so many things. I was reading this through my library, and so I didn't do that, but I bought it shortly after because I was like, oh my gosh, I love this book. And I totally want to go back and just like reread it, and just, there's so many good quotes, but it just made it so, I don't know, I just connected so well with some of the way the author was explaining how racism is just a part of our culture and life, and we don't even realize it in a lot of ways, or we think we're joking, or I don't know. It was amazing, and I love it. So a picnic at the park is the perfect springtime activity. So choose a book with a character that you want to make all the food for your lovely picnic. This was like the easiest book I had to pick. I knew exactly. I was like, With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. Amoni, she is making me my food, because there's like little recipes throughout this book, and she's just always talking about food, and she wants to be the chef, and like she's got like these fun different combinations, and I want her to make me my freaking picnic because she would do an amazing job. For many, spring is the first break from the bitterness of winter. Choose a book that just makes you think sunshine. This one, again, an instant in my brain. The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, 100% like pure blast of sunshine. It was the sweetest, most warm and just refreshing book ever, and if you haven't read this book, you need to read this book. Oh my gosh, it's so good. We're following Linus, and he works for the Department of Magical Youth or something like that. I think that's what it is. And he basically goes out to all these little orphanages where these kids live that have some kind of magical abilities, and make sure that they are being taken care of and everything's going well. And he gets tasked with taking care of the orphanage that's like the most secret ever, and it's out on this island, and he goes out there for like a few weeks to see how things are going. And oh my gosh, you just fall in love with these kids. They're just so sweet and cute, and the caretaker is so amazing, and it was just the sweetest story ever in the world. Oh my gosh, I just melted into a puddle. Literally melted into a puddle. It was amazing. Okay, so we've got a few like bonus questions. Those were like the main prompts that we'll run through here. And then I will tag some people and then we'll be done. The world around us is being reborn right before our eyes. Choose a book whose movie or TV adaptation reignited a dormant obsession. And I kind of didn't totally follow this because this movie that I'm going to say doesn't have a book it's not adapted from a book, but it did reignite a book passion for me. And so that is The Greatest Showman. I don't know why I haven't watched this before. It was such a good movie. Oh my gosh, I like watched it like 3 times in a week. I was like, I need to watch this. And I listened to the music all the time and I'm just like, yes, yes. Beautiful story about Barnum's circus and how it started, but it's just, oh my gosh, it's so inclusive and wonderful and gives me the same kind of vibes of House in the Cerulean Sea. So if you like this movie, you may like that book. But this made me really want to read some more circus books. I love books that are based around the circus, and so that kind of made me think like I need to look into some more books to read that are circus based very soon. So I'm definitely making that a plan for next month's TBR for sure. There couldn't be a more perfect time to discard some cluttering items with some spring cleaning. Choose a book that you've held on to for too long that needs to go, either physically or in your heart. Probably I'm gonna try and unhaul a few books soon, but these are a few books that I have decided to unhaul, so I just figured I'd show you guys. I have The Princess and the Fangirl. Not a bad book at all, it just wasn't really for me. Mrs. Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, I didn't particularly enjoy. Again, I know a lot of people have. The Husband's Secret, no, I didn't really enjoy this one either. Leanne Moriarty. So those are kind of books that have been just sitting here on my shelf, and I've been like, oh, I need to like donate these or do something with these, and they've just been sitting there for like months now. So yeah, that's my little pile there. So spring's the perfect time to try something new. So choose a book with an activity that you want to do or try, or a place that you'd like to go. This one, I'm stretching a smidge. I chose The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. I read this as a NetGalley arc in a recent vlog, if you guys saw it. And it's basically about this film documentary team. They go out to this old mining town that like 900 people from there just up and disappeared one day, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. So it's kind of like an old ghost town or whatever. And I don't want to go necessarily there, but when I was a kid, I went to Bodie, California, and it's like this old ghost town, mining town, and it was really fun. And they just had like, you could go look at the old mining town area, and then also they had like obviously like a gift shop, and they had some other activities. I remember like making candles and stuff. I don't know. I would love to go and do that again. I think that would be really cool, and it'd be fun to take my daughter to, and it'd be just kind of interesting. So that was kind of what I threw in here. Also would love to go to a Renaissance fair, but I was trying not to bring Well Met back up, so that one, like, I probably could have put into a few of the prompts in this one, actually. So springtime may be lovely, but the allergies it brings are not. Choose a book with a side character or a second point of view character whose presence is not wanted. So for this one, I did The Sun Priest in Black Sun by Rebecca Rowanhurst. She was probably the perspective that I didn't like the most. It's 4 POVs in this book, and she was so naive. Like, for being the Sun Priest, I was like, you are stupid. Like, you need to get your shit together. Even towards the end, I was like, maybe she's trying to right now, and then I was just like, no, I still feel like you're just, like, you are going to lose this battle in like 2 seconds here. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. So anyways, I put her in here. So with each new season comes a new color palette, and spring brings in pastels. This one says to choose a book with pastel cover that I've either loved or I think that I'm going to love. I put both in here. So the one that I have loved is Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. This is a beautiful contemporary story about a young girl who ages out of the foster system. So she ends up moving in at this farm where they foster a lot of kids, and sometimes they take on people who have aged out of the foster system to help teach the younger kids. And they're just kind of this big found family, but it's also about her kind of dealing with some of the traumas of her past and why she's in foster care and stuff like that. And it's very, very sweet story. And for the one that I would like to read that I think I will enjoy with a beautiful pastel cover is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I definitely need to get back to reading more of her books because I really enjoy them so much. And this one's super cute and springy with the little bike and the flowers and the pretty colors. But I also know this one's going to be sad because this one, I'm pretty sure we have these newlyweds, they get married, and it's kind of a quick marriage, I believe. Like they've only known each other for like a month or two or something, and then a like car accident or something happens and he dies, and she's left widowed, and she's like never even met his parents, and it's just she's trying to like navigate from there. And so I know I will enjoy it because it's Taylor Jenkins Reid and I just really enjoy her books. But yeah, it's got a really pretty pastel cover. Okay, so there it is. That is the Splendid Spring book tag for you guys. And now I'm gonna tag a few friends here. So Caitlin at The Lit Review, I would love to see you do it. Also Melanie over at Completely Melanie, and Kim at the Audiobook Reader. And then let's also do maybe Rye over at Rye's Reading Corner. I would love to see you guys do this if you're up for it. So thanks to Victoria for making this tag. I had a lot of fun with it, and thanks for Kelsey for tagging me in it. Now I have to go put all these books away, but so many beautiful books, and I love spring, and I enjoyed this tag quite a bit. And if you guys want to answer some of these questions, I'd love to hear from you guys down below, what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video.